Exactly. Right? Variety is the thing I think when I think of the intermission tracks. I don't know. But anyways, I'm not going to wait. The appointed time is upon us, and I am going to assume that it's just going to be you and me today. I'm going to assume that other members of the audience may be preoccupied by a certain 9th Mario Kart game. Tour doesn't count as a Mario Kart game, does it? No, I don't think it does. This is the source? Okay. I go an entire 2 weeks without streaming, skipping 1 week, and I just do not, let's full screen that. There we go, okay. That is the correct view. Corvax says some people do things other than video games. Big if true. So, first things first, for the sake of the VOD, I have to apologize for 2 things. 1, for not streaming last week, I'll explain after. 2, is I have misinformed all of you. I said that I was not going to be using a certain black or blue magic. Do I really? This is my best weapon? Okay. I wasn't going to use a certain blue magic. I misinformed you all. I will in fact be using it right this very moment. Okay, blue. There it is, self-destruct, which I said I would never be using. I have now used it. Corvax in chat says, my feet are cold right now. You could try putting socks. That might help a little bit. Why? It's very important that I use that magic right now. Just, like, critically important. Other branch arrow. Oh, there's a good amount of damage. Transfusion. Interestingly enough, Transfusion actually is a blue magic that I can be using, but I cannot get it right now, I think. Important to just wreck Ferris. Don't worry about it. I'll explain it in a moment. Just the important thing is, I am sorry for misinforming everyone who watches this playthrough, who has been watching, who will watch this playthrough, about me not using self-destruct. It is useful specifically right now. The other thing I wanted to talk about as I continue this battle is why I didn't stream last week. See, this is the point in time where I would pull a Pale Voyager style kind of funny excuse where I'm masking what went down, but 9 days ago was June 5th, 2025, aka the release date of Nintendo Switch 2. I was busy playing Nintendo Switch 2. I just wanted to keep playing Switch 2. So, as you can see right now, very important, all of my party members are presently at level 15. I both want party members at level 15 and absolutely do not want all of my party to be at level 15 right now because of a certain thing that's going to happen probably many times in the upcoming dungeon. Characters do not gain experience when they're dead, and that's important because I'm going to get the rest of this crew off of level 15 as soon as possible. But, while I'm just doing this, speaking of Nintendo Switch 2, it's kind of good. I kind of understand why Nintendo thinks I'll pay 700 Canadian dollars for it. Corvax asks, what level is Ferris? 15, just like the rest of the party. Although I will be moving the party to level 16 promptly as possible. Job level, still no level, still level 15. But not her. No. Ferris is gonna stay level 15 for a few moments still. Corvax asks, can I guess why? You may guess why, and you're probably going to guess correctly. Bigger encounter here, more XP. Hopefully this will be enough to actually level up. Corvax says, I don't think I'm right. Well, we'll see, Corvax. It is very possible that you may be right. Gui_BB says, I don't know what this emote is, but it's very cute. Barking little Shiba Inus, I guess. Welcome to the stream, BB. I am currently grinding. Oh. Okay. I'm currently grinding a few levels in Final Fantasy V. Corvax in chat says, I'm assuming maybe only a level 15 person will be targeted by an attack. You have guessed correctly. We'll get a bit more into that once the time comes. Nope, I need Phoenix down. That's the one I want. Using Ether. And cure everyone that's not Ferris. Okay. I very much recall this little bit of grinding before the library not taking as much time as it has, but I guess that's what it's like when you're having fun. Okay, hopefully Shiva does good damage here. Okay, yeah, that's good damage. That Leaf Swirl ability has very variable damage and it's weird. Corvax says, gonna try to do the laundries. As you usually do during these streams, that's fine. Okay, we've got one of our levels. Kinda don't just want it to be Galuf. We'll save now, though. Just in case. But, yeah, speaking of Nintendo Switch 2, Mario Kart World, man, that is a great game so far. I've been having so much fun with it. You know? It's like... It feels like it's not a very big game, but it's... like, the more I play it, the more I find that it's just absolutely massive. And, like, I don't know, like, I think that's kind of brilliant. Okay. We've got one more level 16. Corvax in chat says, I like the little clown kind of outfit. I assume you mean Lena's outfit right now. The Geomancer outfit. Yeah, it's pretty cute. It's a cute outfit for a very cute class. Yeah. Okay, come on, Shiva. Hurry up. I say that, but that summon animation is still nothing compared to, like, PlayStation Final Fantasy, which are absurdly long summon animations. So I'll definitely take this over that. And there we are. We have most of the party at level 16, which is the level of a little bit more safety than otherwise. I have a whole bunch of scholars running around here. There's monsters in the basement of the library. It's a very oh no kind of situation. And okay, this recovers everyone. That's good. Because we have some books to read. A long time ago, Ifrit would burn the possessed books for us. A Blue Mage's Journey. Finally started learning enemy skills. Arrow. Level 5 Death. A Traveler's Journal. I'll give this strange staff I found to that man from Tycoon. And we have page 32. Okay, and now we wait. It is now turned into page 64. Korvax says, the RPG summon animations are annoying in a lot of games, especially PS1 era. Yes. Okay. Don't want to kill this guy quite yet, because I need to make sure Ferris survives the fight. Korvax then says, I can't remember the name of the one I'm thinking of, but it was an LP I watched and they just took way too long. Yeah. Okay. I need to make sure that Ferris actually survives here. Come on, get up. We're done keeping you dead. Promise, Ferris. Promise. Okay. I do have a high potion. Okay. Get up then. Good. Oh, okay, nice. Oh, goody, okay. This is actually going to be the very longest encounter possible in this dungeon, then. We're gonna go all the way up to page 256, and then we're gonna go back down the pages. Gorax then says you should be able to skip them. Yes. Yes, you should be able to skip overlong animations. I know Final Fantasy VIII, for instance, has so you can level up your summons and give them the bonus skill called Turbo, which just increases the speed of the animation, which is nice considering in that game you're using them a lot. Gorax then says Ferris misses being dead. It's a bit chill, you know, no responsibilities. You just kind of sit there and vibe for a bit. But no, Ferris now has a responsibility to not be dead. Okay, please don't level 5 death me again. I am begging you. Okay, good. Alright, I have now just obtained the, one of the most powerful blue magics in the entire game. We've got learned level 5 death, just as the book said. Learned enemies skills. So level 5 death, the way it works is it casts instant death on anything on the other side of the field that has a level that is evenly divisible by 5. That is why I had to get everyone's level off of 15, because that is evenly divisible by 5. It divides into 3. And had I had my entire party at level 15, were the enemy to have used that ability, I would have fully wiped and had to reload my save. Korvax says, so she has to be alive at the end of the encounter? I think so. I think that the one person who's been, like, I think to learn an enemy skill, you the person, party member, to be learning it, needs to be alive, yes. Thankfully in this game, all blue magics that have been learned are shared between party members, so I only have to learn it on one to learn it on everyone. Korvax asks, why choose Ferris? Because I hadn't previously had Ferris be a blue mage. Never mind shared magic, yeah. It could have been anyone, but I already have the learning skills on Bartz, Lena, and Galuf. Kovac says, I'm thinking of enemy skill though. Yes, that's how it works in Final Fantasy VII, because that's just... It makes sense for how it's implemented in that game. But all magics are shared within the party. Okay, we'll continue a little bit here. Still want to make sure Ferris is, ends up at level 16. Okay, Aqua Breath is a bit too much. Let's use Era. Okay, that's decent. That... Oh, that actually does do a little bit of damage. Nice. Kovac says, I like how it makes a lot more sense to me now that I've actually sunk my teeth into Final Fantasy VII. Yes, the materia system is like probably the second best class-making system that the Final Fantasy series has come up with. The number one best one being what they're doing in this game, Final Fantasy V. Just, you know, kind of perfection. Okay, I'm gonna go heal up now. But yeah, in this game, it's much more difficult to get incredible combos like you can get in Final Fantasy VII. Korvac says, what about 13? You don't like the tree thing, I assume? There's only one way forward in 13. If you gain enough experience points, you just max out your characters always in the exact same ways. Right? In Final Fantasy V, like, the classes are equipped to the characters. Even if, you know, you've fully mastered all the classes and you get the bonuses from that, you still choose which class abilities you have active at any one time. Or not the like passive abilities, but the active abilities that you would be using in the menu, like black magic, white magic, guard, you know, future skills that I'll be using, right? So there's still like an element of choice that you have to be making, which then necessarily kind of constricts what you have access to immediately in a battle, and just doesn't make it so that at all times you're completely like overwhelmed for choice. I'm still not level 16 yet. Okay, come on. Come on. I'm nearly 20 minutes into the stream. I would like to start the stream now. Well, I'll start the stream in a state where I won't be party wiped, or where I won't be one-shot by an enemy with a fun ability. Where's Aqua Breath? Okay, there it is. Korvac says the Crystarium thing is just kind of annoying. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, all the choices that you make in the Crystarium are like when you're not fully leveled up. You know, you're just basically choosing what to prioritize on the way up to having the characters be fully, you know, mastered. Korvac then says, it's my least favorite part about playing RPGs. Yeah, even in Final Fantasy VII, you really don't like managing all the different materials, right? You know, at some point you just have to say, okay, stop, I'm not putting, I'm keeping what I have on my party members, and that's it, you know? And like, you do that to a certain extent, the little minutia in Final Fantasy V, but again, like, when you're choosing your job, you're choosing one job, and then you add one ability on top of that, and that's it, you know? It's more like in Pokemon, where you're choosing what 4 moves your Pokemon has, you know? Do you want to go for coverage? Do you want to go for a certain strategy? Do you want to, you know, still have your party member be level 15, even though you've been grinding a whole bunch still more? You know, lots of choices to make. Okay, back to Psyche. That's good magic. It's good magic. This Leaf Swirl always does a very variable amount of damage, and it's weird to me. Korvac says, this is that thing where in TTRPGs where you play with a DM that wants you to count your arrows and have spell components. Yeah, that's kind of what it is, huh? You know, where like you're expected to do all kinds of micromanagement, it's like, no, that sucks. Like, you know, if you're a game developer and you're watching players just completely disregard all the micromanagement decisions, you know, even experienced players who really like what you've made, and okay, Ferris is still level 15, but at this point I'm just moving forward. I will get to level 16 in the library. And if I get level 5 death, well then 1, so be it, and 2, that sucks. For me. It will suck for me. It'll probably, hopefully, be entertaining for everyone at home. So, there's monsters in the basement, and the other guys up there would be explaining that a certain guy named Mid is stuck there. So let's go rescue him. Korvac says, it's unappealing to me, I just want to play the game. Yeah, exactly, right? You know, if you're a game designer, eventually you just let go of having all of the micromanagement BS in your game, right? You just won't be able to tolerate it anymore. Okay, Era, big damage to this guy, mid damage to this guy, big damage to this guy, no damage to this guy, and he's going to use level 5 death on me. No, he's gonna live by the sword and die by the sword. You know, that's why, like, long-running game series often tend to simplify with time. It's because the same people working on these games just noticed that players just do not respond to overly, like complicated gameplay when the most interesting parts of gameplay can be really easily boiled down. That's why you have Skyrim, like, being so much simpler than Oblivion, right? It's not because, you know, kids these days can't understand the games. It's that the same team that had been doing super complicated computer RPGs, you know, 2 decades earlier, just said, no, we want to make the best game we can. And that's what they did. Corvax, that's a really great point. This is similar to... Oh, okay. I cannot use Gaia in this fight because fire heals the fire monster. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Especially if you're familiar with Final Fantasy's just general mechanics. And I should really have Bartz be Blizzara. He should have coldness in his blade. Nope, still... God, I hit Gaia again. Okay, whoops. Enjoy the heals. Oh! Oh, no. So apparently that ability also confuses the target, which is funny. Can't Aqua Breath anymore. Okay. Let's restore some health. That's what I wanted to do. Corvax then says, I was one of the people who wasn't a fan when it was on by default in Sun and Moon, I think. The experience share, right. Yeah, I mean, at some point in Sun and Moon, Pokemon, like, my levels just weren't catching up anymore, and I'm like, do I want to grind levels a whole bunch, or do I just want to have fun playing the game and continuing with it? It's like, oh, okay, let's turn this thing on. Back on, because, you know, I turned it off initially, right? Corvax then says, and then it was like, this means that I don't have to go in my party and change them around constantly. Exactly! You can use the Pokemon you want. You can introduce new Pokemon into your team, and you'll know that, like, sooner rather than later, they're gonna catch up to the rest of your team and become usable. You know, as opposed to you being stuck with the Pidgeys you caught early in the game, because, you know, they're 5 levels higher than everything else you're catching. So the entire reason for that fight is that this bookshelf here... Wahaha, none shall pass, and... Gah, Ifrit! Sorry, sir! Yeah. The books respond to Ifrit Kind of makes sense. Ifrit will just slaughter them through fire if they don't listen to reason. Reason being fire. Oh, this is a fun encounter. This encounter here is 2 page 64s, followed by a page 32, and then another page 60. No, this is 3 page 64s. I'm misremembering here. Maybe this encounter is just all 64s. Korvac says, and I'm also very peculiar about keeping my team at the same level, to the point where I would be upset that I would level Mons, not in the order that I captured them, with my starter being first to get a new level and stuff. Anyways, all that to say that the experience share backlash is ridiculous. Yeah, it is ridiculous. People just backlash to changes in gameplay as opposed to playing the game and realizing, oh, the game developers actually know how to make a game more fun. I don't think anyone can wear this. Bartz can wear this ninja suit. Okay, good. We'll have him wear the ninja suit. Ferris is level 16 now. I don't have to worry about getting suddenly level 5 death and losing a party member. Korvac says most of the time, the gamers are wrong. So true, love. Gamers just don't. They don't understand how to have fun. They don't understand what they like about games. You know, to me, the way most gamers talk about games is like they just want to play something where number goes up, right? That is what fun is. You know, number goes up, you unlock more things, and if you're not doing that, then you are definitionally not having fun. And it's like, I think these people are just addicts. You know, they just want the little dopamine hit of new thing as opposed to the dopamine hit of, wow, I had fun driving in that little race, you know, online with a bunch of strangers. It's all just kind of ridiculous to me. Granted, not every gamer has had their brain rewired by UFO 50. Which mine has definitely been rewired by UFO 50. Yeah, okay. Back attack, oh that's not fun. I can deal with this. Corvax in chat says, they want to have their time wasted and they want to play a previous game in the series but in the new game and get mad when that doesn't happen. Yeah, it's so weird, right? All of the Mario Kart World players who are just hitting random in the track select in online so that they don't play intermissions because you only get 3-lap tracks if random is picked. Like, they would be having more fun if they were just playing Mario Kart 8 where everything was just 3-lap tracks. Or just, like, lengthy tracks, you know? And it's like, why play Mario Kart World if not to play the new, interesting stuff introduced in Mario Kart World? It is completely baffling to me, right? Because, like, it really seems like players just don't like the new game, but they're playing it. Yeah. Korvac says, oh, also, people are mad and that they're being referred to as intermissions, by the way, saying that's not what it means. Okay, but the demos for Mario Kart World had a setting for whether or not to turn on intermissions, which is the bits between the tracks. So it's like, at some point, these losers just need to, you know, not be such losers about it. Okay. Question mark does nothing. I don't have any. I do have fire magic on Ferris. I just use fire up. That's very easy. That's simple. Okay. And for Galef, same deal. Ifrit, Hellfire. I have fire on everybody now. Isn't that lovely? He uses Toad and it appears not to hit. And he uses Confuse and it does hit. Okay, well, Why not get knifed? Back to my side, please. Korvac says, it's like, you know what people are saying, and when they use that term relating to Mario Kart World. Korvac says, Toad is busy racing. Yes, exactly. Right? He does not have time to be thrown at some JRPG party members. He's a Nintendo character, and Nintendo famously doesn't really care much about JRPGs. Oh dear, Ferris has died again. Okay, get back up, Ferris. Your time being a corpse is over. It is time to not be a corpse. Maybe I should have healed her. Probably should have healed her. Magic Hammer. MP halved. Unfortunately, that is not, I don't think, a blue magic in this game, even though other Final Fantasy games do have a blue magic or enemy skill with that name. Very unfortunately, I don't get to have a magic hammer in this particular game. Korvac says not to bring that about, but once Miyamoto passes/retires, that might change. Nintendo has a gameplay first culture. They would need to have JRPG ideas that would very much resonate with main audiences. Korvac says, I have hopes since we got Thousand Year Door remake. Yeah, and of all of the Mario RPGs that... Oh no, it outsold Brothership. It did not outsell Super Mario RPG, I think. Which is kind of surprising because Thousand Year Door is very much one of those most anticipated remakes that, like, ever. So, back to the game. I've defeated Biblos, and I have found Mid, the grandson of the engineer Sid, who is busy wasting away his time at the bar. He's depressed because his machines destroyed the crystals, which are important because now we can't have fire, water, or wind, because apparently that's what crystals means. Korvac says Bibliostek. Sure, I'll accept that. It's a funny little pun. So Mid, hearing that the fire crystal, which was powering a certain fire-powered ship, was destroyed, as in the fire crystal was destroyed, the ship is actually fine, went and found a method to restore power to the fire-powered ship, even though there is no fire left because the fire crystal has destroyed. All very confusing. That is to say, we'll return to the city where the fire-powered ship is parked close to, and see what's up. But first, before I go, I'm going to heal up, just in case I run into something particularly nasty on the way back. Korvac says, Fnabe was peak and I will never pass that. Don't say that, Korvac. You may yet surpass that, one day, far in the future, I'm sure. Silent bee. Buzz, buzz, buzzy bee. Well, actually, the beach probably has unique, Oh, no, I won't use blue magic. Just, there we go. Yes, it does have unique, geomancies. Look at that. Korvac says, I'm not good at puns. That's okay, babe. Korvac says, the beach. There you go. There's one. Unfortunately, the bees have already been killed. Oh, never mind. We are back at a different beach. Nice. Just drown the bees. Well, isn't that easy beasy? Korvac says, when I said it, they were still on my screen. That's fair, but that's not what's going to be recorded onto YouTube for the rest of however long YouTube exists. Which, you know, might be another good 10 years or something. Something like that. I've gained Find Pits. That's a lovely ability to have. And more levels. I don't think I will use the Find Pits ability once. No, I will use it once in this game. Korvac says, but I just said the truth of it, and that will be on the stew too. And to make matters even better for you, I even read it out loud. So there you go. That's what will be on the stew tube. Yeah, Earthquake, Lena won't exactly do much against a flying type enemy. Come on, please tell me you have ice or electric type coverage. That enemy dropped an elixir. Huh. That's interesting. Alright. We hop into town. He's at the pub, I think. Yes, I said so. I said he was wasting away. Drinking. Sid! Mid isn't here? Come on, man. Pull yourself together. All trying to give Sid a little pep talk here. It is not working. He says, leave me alone. Don't waste your time on a worthless old lump like me. Yeah, that's true. You definitely do have some sins to atone for. Mid bursts in, says, Grandpa! To which Sid responds, Mid. And then Sid proceeds to physically assault, Mid proceeds to physically assault Sid several times, to which Sid responds, Ouch! Mid, stop that! What are you doing? Bang, 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 bang. Mid says, What am I doing? What are you doing, you silly old fool? You never give up. Never! Yeah, unfortunately he's given up, Mid. You always told me not to be afraid of failing, that if you messed up you just had to start over and try again. What happened to that? And then, just try again. You're absolutely right, says Sid. So now they're going to go over and fix the fire-powered ship, so that we can find and protect the Earth Crystal. Which is the only remaining crystal left in the world. And without Earth, what do we even have? The Triumph music. Yes, this is actually the fire-powered ship music as well, which is, you know, kind of funny. Korvac says, I learned that flying is immune to ground attacks when I tried to use the Earth materia against some bird. Probably the same zoo enemy. Korvac says, without Earth, you gotta stand to nothing. Yeah, it's like those Minecraft challenge, Skyblock challenge players who try to play Skyblock without any blocks. I think they're still theory crafting it. Which is impressive that they're not just dismissing it out of hand. Korvac says, don't you mean Minecraft? I mean, I don't know. I've definitely fallen out of, caring for Minecraft, but I wouldn't go that far. So while Sid and Mid hang out working, or they're working, we're just gonna hang out. Bart asks Galuf, what's wrong? And Ferris and Lena are also concerned. Galuf, poor amnesiac Galuf, his head hurts. It was like I could almost remember. Well, and here's the scene we just saw about 2 minutes ago. And here is a place we haven't seen, with a character we haven't met, but we have seen, calling him Grandpa. And then he responds in turn, Cryle. Korvac says, maybe my head hurts because I'm suffering from amnesia. Could be. And then again, the scene we just watched 2 minutes ago. And Galuf says, ow, hey, knock it off. Ryle says, silly old fool. She's responding to something silly Galuf just did. And then he's remembering her name. And everyone's very curious. And Galuf says, I'm not from this world. That's right. I warped here through a meteorite from another world. Because the evil we'd sealed 30 years ago was beginning to reawaken, so I came to stop it. That's right, big bad evil too. The Dark Warlock, X-Death. So here we are, into the... I think this is my third stream for this game. Finally, we have a villain drop. I don't think it takes this long to name drop Sephiroth in Final Fantasy VII, for instance. And then Galuf is again remembering when he and his friends, including one werewolf-looking guy, sealed X-Death away 30 years ago. And Galuf says, to seal him, I came here once before, 30 years ago. And Lana says, so if all 4 crystals are destroyed, then X-Death's seal will be broken as well? And Galuf says, right. But then he kind of starts forgetting a little bit. And what he's remembering kind of starts to fade away. And then he says, okay. He's okay. So yep, juicy little tidbit. Galuf is an alien and he's here to prevent the reawakening of an evil thing he sealed away here 30 years ago. And these two are sleeping on the job. Okay, yeah, that's what I said, Korvax. And then they say, it's finished. A ship that can sail without wind. And without fire, it seems. How does it sail? Don't ask me. I have no idea. So, it's time to gain our second ship of the game. The fire-powered ship. Ferris's ship was previously sucked up in one big, giant, enormous whirlpool. I do have a world map, okay. Oh, I've got a fully healed party. We're good, okay. So for now, I'll just kind of hug around the continent we've been on. Because, now with the ship that can sail across the entire world, as opposed to the very, very small area that I was relegated to previously, we'll have lots more exploring to do. Whirlpool. I hope that does something to them. It does nothing. That's okay. Electric type does super effective damage to water type. Let me slip right past this and... let's explore this place a little bit. Got some new enemies here. Bomb, a certified Final Fantasy classic. To give a hint, fire is weak to water. Bye-bye, Bomb. And the Blizzard Blade was actually completely useless. Korvax says, hate Bomb. Yes, they use the worthless blue magic self-destruct on you. But it hurts worse for you because, you know, You're the party members. Oh, Earthquake. These are Bio Soldier. They're poison type. They're weak to ground. I am liking the amount of Pokemon joking I get to do here. It's very fun. At least I think so. Korvac says, I'm the party members. Well, in my case, I'm the party members. You know, I'm just saying, like, generally speaking. When you're the one getting self-destructed on, when you're the party members, it's less fun for it to happen. And I guess it's also less fun to do. It's just not very fun. That's why I'm never going to use self-destruct again in this playthrough of Final Fantasy V. I said I was never going to, but, you know, as explained earlier in the stream, turns out I wanted to use it exactly once, and no more than once, throughout the entirety of Final Fantasy V. Because it's just the useful way to kill your party member when you need to keep one of them at a certain level. Okay, got lots of eye drops. Give me some kisses just in case. Give me some mounts just in case. Whoop. Sure, let's do that. Korvac says, These guys are saying that the cave up north is full of traps and terrifying monsters. Well, that's true. It is definitely full of both. Whoop. There we go. There we go, Bartz. That's how you play piano. Piano skills leveled up. So if I've been counting correctly, that puts me at piano level 5. Again, every single piano in this game levels me up exactly once when I play it, and no more than that. And no less than that, too, thankfully. So I just need to, you know, make sure I find all of them. I have all of these white magics. Korvac says, BRB, you're gonna be alone for a bit, so I hope no bots show up. Watch bots show up now. That is the wrong door. That is also a waterfall I can't go up. My current money situation, I don't know exactly how much I'm going to be able to buy. Oh, I'll be able to buy a tiny bit. Coral Sword. I just want one of those. Mage Masher. We'll definitely put on one of those. And I can't use any of these weapons right now. Okay. And here I thought the amount of money I had wasn't exactly enough. Oh yes, I definitely want that Sage's thing. It prevents silence, which means it prevents me from being prevented from casting magic, not catching magic. I can still catch magic no matter what, in the face, of course. Okay, well that was actually a bit of a more productive trip in town than I thought. So now that I have the ship thing, we're at a point where I can start doing some optional content. That's what I'll be doing. I'll be trying, emphasis on attempting, to play through upcoming dungeon. Okay, let's just use Blizzara here. I don't exactly feel confident in my ability to, no, that's not it. I don't need to use all the MP to cast Aqua Breath. Not exactly necessary. There we go. That's more like it. So the townspeople mentioned not bomb, but I'll deal with them all the same. Gust, okay. The townspeople mentioned a certain cave up north filled with monsters and traps. That's where we'll be going next. Because, cave full of monsters might mean cave full of loot. Otherwise, it means cave full of experience points. And, apparently, the whole reason I play this game is to watch number go up, so let's get some experience points. That is not how I proceed in cave. This is how I proceed in cave. Okay. Put that up. Oh my. Okay. Oh! Well, that works. That certainly works. Okay. Whoop. Oh. Okay. Oh. Oh, please don't do that to yourself. Korvac says, SMH, you don't even know how to proceed in cave. I know, I know. I'm kind of, sort of, maybe a little bit cringe, and... Okay, I need to sort out my inventory afterwards. Come on, Skull Eater, please. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna have to be very careful moving forward. Because I cannot do anything to that Skull Eater. That is just an empty chest. Nutkin. This is a guy I can do something to. Korvac says, Squirrel. Yes. Squirrel. And we've got summon level 3. I'm actually only currently on level 2 summon, so I really do not need Galuf to be on the summoner job. So let's put him on... Trainers whose open hearts and strong wills allow them to capture and control enemy monsters. I don't know if I'm... yeah, I'm gonna want control eventually. Oh no, we've got learning on Ferris. We're good. Yeah, take the... Oh, actually... That's only a little bit less attack. We can deal with that, I think. And still full power from the back row. And, most importantly, we get Galuf as a sheep. Whoop. Perfect. That little puzzle's solved. More Nutkin. Okay, alright. I am currently not screwed. Stalactite. Well, that's big damage. And knowing me and my luck, it probably still won't do anything to the Nutkin. There's a switch inside the chest. Yep, I want to hit it. Preemptive strike, okay. So about this cave, there's 3 different enemy formations that can be found in this cave. There's 3 Nutkins, I think there's 5 Nutkins, and 1 Skull Eater. Nutkins are basically a free enemy. Skull Eaters are not free enemies. Okay. Can I put you to sleep? I cannot put you to sleep, okay. Remora, that can confuse. Nope, it can't. Korvac says, just decided to look at the demos available on Steam Next Fest, whatever that is, and my goodness, a lot of these look like garbage. Yeah, yeah, I think it's hard to make games, unless it's Pokemon. That's super easy, and Game Freak's just lazy. Korvac says, this guy looks like a petrified Squirrel. Squirrel, my bad. Yes, you're bad, Korvax. That does nothing. Okay. Remora? Nope, still nothing. Flee. Okay, well that's fine. If he flees, I still get the AP from him, which is nice. 5 AP is higher than anything else in this game will be dropping presently, which just helps me gain progress for my jobs. And that is very low on MP right now. This is very much a situation that warrants the use of elixirs. Korvac says, this game is called Nippon Marathon 2 Daijobu. Okay. Was Nippon Marathon 1 good? But more importantly, does this new game look good? There we go. Obtained tent. It's an okay treasure to have. Korvac says the banner, question mark, looks god-awful. Oh dear. Okay. I'm actually curious. Summon? Remora. Oh good, all of these things just say what they summon and not what the summon does. That is the kind of descriptive text we love. I got a shuriken. That's actually quite nice. I don't have anyone presently who can use it, but it's quite nice. I love all these stalactites. I hope Lena continues to produce them. But yes, even without the skull eaters in this dungeon, the Nutkins are such easy kills, and they drop 2 ABP each, which is still like pretty good job level progress. This is widely considered the best place to farm for job levels in all of Final Fantasy V. At this point in Final Fantasy V, this is nowhere near the best place to farm ABP in Final Fantasy V. Absolutely not anywhere near the best place. Just want to clear up. Okay, thank you. Run away. Go. That's fine. Okay, we've got Spellblade level 3. That's good. I can move Bart's on to Ninja. Ninja sounds good. Let's put time on him for now. Okay. Well, that works, I guess. And up here we go. Korvac says, Nippon Marathon the first is from 2018 and has a, quote, very positive rating by a total of 267 people. So as we see here, this dungeon just leads to nowhere. It's just a place to get good job experience. I need to revive Galuf. Okay, we raise him. And then he regains his job as a sheep boy. More like a sheep man. Because he's an old man. Because we want to make sure that Galuf also gets the job experience points. Very important. I would normally say I'm liking not seeing any Skull Eaters, but right now I'm terrified. I just expect one to just come over and eat my skull at any moment right now. I do think it'd be kind of funnier if the enemies, the normal enemies here were called Nut Eater, and then the, you know, big guy was called Skull Eater. I think it would make for a better joke. What do you think, Corvax? Corvax says there's a 101 game collection game. UFO 100? That's incredible. As in, I don't believe it would be very good. UFO 50 is good because it's got some great people in it who worked very hard to make a great game. Corvax says, I don't know, Skull Eater is really hardcore. Exactly. Right? But it would also make for a funny joke, you know. You have Nut Eater enemies normally, and then you just run into a guy called Skull Eater, and you think, uh-oh, is the game just pranking me here? And then he one-shots you, and you can't do any damage to him. And the only way to beat him is to get him to one-shot himself. Okay, that was East Story Cave. Not East Story Cave, Jackhole Cave. East Story is somewhere else in this game. That's actually the next stop I'll be going to. I had my thoughts a little confused for a moment. Tends to happen with me. I'm a very confusedly thinking person. Perfect says, imagine if UFO 50 looked like feces and probably had really awful games and twice as many of them. Woof. UFO 50 doesn't have any really awful games at all. Even the games that I could barely play because they're just so hard, I still really like them. Right? Fist Hell, Overbold, I'm terrible at them, but they are so fun. Yeah. I don't expect most game developers to be able to make one good game, let alone 100 good games. Plus, actually, the problem with like such a large collection too is that, you know, you're kind of burdening the player with discovering what games in the collection that they would even like, right? You know, that's something that the player would like themselves would need to figure it out. Corvax says, Boom Boom Hamster Doom, it's VR only. I don't want to know. I do not want to know. Corvax says, all these look like cash grabs rather than passion projects. Yeah. And you know what's ridiculous? Probably a lot of these are genuine passion projects. Yeah, I don't know. I guess when you get like so deep into making a game, you kind of stop being able to see it objectively, because like the thing with good games versus bad games is often what makes a game bad is just you need to spend so much effort into being able to even figure out how to really make it work for you as a player that it's just, you know, that time between you've you know, first seen the game and okay, I need to oh, this is only okay, well, oh, this is still only, oh no, this is everyone. Okay, good. Alright. And I get 2 lightning scrolls from that. That is technically a positive exchange. The thing with bad games is, with a lot of games that people call bad, if you like actually just put in the time to get familiar with the game and understand its intricacies, a lot of the time, these games turn out to be like kind of fun. You know, you just like need to put in a ridiculous amount of time to get there, and that's like, you know, for most people, rightly, too much to ask. I realize that I'm missing my coral sword. It should be equipped to Ferris right now. I may have neglected to equip it to Ferris right now. Corvax says, shovelware is not worth playing. Well, there's a difference between shovelware and, like, a game that's, like, flawed and, like, not that far from being pretty good, right? I'm thinking, like, what's, like, a kind of guilty pleasure game? I would almost want to say, like... Oh, but no. I don't know, see, I can't think of any that come to mind. Right? I have good taste in games, unlike most gamers. I am joking, of course. I have great taste in games. Okay, I actually have a bit of a problem now. Alex says, WTF, this game. It's a co-op game and it's called Open Fire. Oh no. Oh no. That is not the kind of look you want given current events as of June 14th, 2025. For the future historians who might want to know what I'm talking about. Cormac says, you know those horror games? I don't really. I'm not much of a connoisseur of horror games. Yeah, I'm gonna do another flame scroll. Cormac says, like the Slender Man game. Oh, yes. Yes. There's only one developer who does good games like that. And I haven't played any of them, but the developer is called Kitty a Horror Show. Huh. Turtle Shell. Okay. So this here, what I alluded to earlier, the town of East Story. Got a few things to get here. And I just remembered I talked about equipping a sword. Can't forget that. Coral sword. Oh, that is so much more damage. Blitz whip. Infused with the power of lightning. Oh, that's nice. Everyone's kind of getting lightning with it. Okay. Come. No, okay, come on. Oh, there we go. Korak says, looks like that, but worse. You know, you gotta know your East story or you're bound to repeat it. That's true, that's true. Unfortunately, it seems like some people might be very happy to repeat certain bits of history. And not the fun ones, if you know what I mean. Okay, actually, what is in this shop anyways? Nothing of particular note. Corvax says, fascists. Corvax says, I can't spell. Yeah, we kind of do have some fascists, trying to do fascism. Oh, wait a minute. Some monster dressed like an old fella's wandering around in the woods. Yes, here we go. Poke, poke, poke. And kick. And this bard-looking guy asks, are you travelers trying to protect the crystal? He gives Romeo's Ballad, which is a song. which means nothing to me because I can't use songs. It says, this guy here says, there's a treasure hidden behind the waterfall. At least that's what my great-grandparent, some kind of grandparent said. And I think that might be all that there is to get here. That's what it seems like. So, let's just hang out in the forest. And here's the monster that's dressed like an old man. Let's throw this at him. And let's throw this at him. And some of Branch Arrow. And Galuf, can you do anything good? Ifrit's probably good. Korvax says, what if it's just an old man? Well, he's a very powerful old man, because I've done like a few thousand damage at this point, and he's still not dead yet. This guy casts Thundara. That's actually quite bad. Oh right, that's my healer. I can't have my healer just doing stuff willy-nilly. And then Rama says, Ifrit? What are you doing here? And then Ifrit says, Lord Rama, I see you have become even more powerful. If you would lend that strength to us... And then Rama says, you get it. Rama's my friend now. And by my friend, I mean he has just died and dropped himself. If I check my inventory, I can see a Rama, and that teaches me the summon magic, Rama. Now I can summon him. So no worries, Korvax, that is in fact not an old man. That is an old monster. He's friends with some of my summons, and he's become summoned. And Lena's become almost dead. Okay, I gotta get my act together here. Korvax says Ramu. I'm pretty sure it's Rama, not Ramu. Oh, nice. Okay. That is pretty much everything that I can do here in his story. Just get a new summon. Which is kind of nice, because normally you're intended to, wait a little bit before getting the summon. So, there's really only one more place to go. Korvax says, but Ramu is more fun to say. You just like to say moo. Okay, let's not use all of my shurikens right away. Let's put pause on the shurikens, because they are kind of expensive. For now. Korvax says, I never say moo. No, but it's fun to say. Hence why you like saying Ramu and not Rama. Hit Mimi! Hello! Welcome to the stream. You have missed a little bit. The most important part is that previously I had adamantly said that I would not be using the ability Self-Destruct in this playthrough of Final Fantasy V. The very first thing I did at the start of the stream was use Self-Destruct in order to kill one of my party members. Because I needed to level up almost everybody off of level 15 so that I could not have get full party wiped through the ability level 5 death, which kills all my level 15 party members instantly. Yeah, she blew up. Ferris blew up specifically. I had Ferris blow up. And basically that kept her at level 15, which allowed her to get hit by level 5 death, so that I could revive her and then she could finish the battle alive and thus learn it for my entire party, without having my entire party die to level 5 death, which would have left me dead and needing to reload my save. I'm saving a lot today. Oh, and then a whole bunch of other stuff happened too. Pit Mimi says 4D chess. Yes. It's just a little easier to use self-destruct to kill a party member rather than have all my party members attack the party member, because I don't, I won't quite know ahead of time how much damage my party members will do to one another. Self-destruct is a bit more clean. Quarterback says Gallop remembered just a little bit. Yes, that is true. I also went into a library and I found their resident fire demon that they use to kill old books that they don't like that offend them. And I've got sailing a little bit, which is interesting because there's no more wind. But this is a fire-powered ship, which is interesting because there's no more fire. Korvac says, you don't want inter-party violence. If I can't help it, if one of my party members is confused, sometimes I just need to give them a good old, just a little love stab. Oh, actually, I do kind of want some of these. Sort of. Just kind of sort of want some of these. If I remember correctly, one of these houses has, yes, a bard. It says, you must be tired from your journey. If you've seen it in battle, little by little, your energy will increase. Mighty March. This is actually a very good song. And it's not quite right, Bart's, but nonetheless, his piano skills leveled up. His piano level is now 6, I think. Korvac says, Ferris would probably hold a bit of a grudge if they did that to her. Exactly. If she just blows herself up, it's like, I'm just gonna be a corpse for a little bit, and it's like, weird, but you do you. I have all of the magic I can have right now. This is fine. What's in this? Oh, just an inn. Okay. No, I already got the weapons here. Korvac says, I feel like that piano playing was worse than last time. Bart's was trying something a little more intricate, and kind of just fumbled at the end there. Pit Mimi says, what's the benefit of leveling up piano? Great question, Pit Mimi. So that bard in that house there gave me a song called Mighty March, which casts regen on my party, which I can't presently actually use, because I don't have the bard class unlocked. I'll probably get it sometime soon, maybe within the hour, depending on the continued forward progress I make. But if I level up my piano to max, I get a special song, very powerful song, later in the game. And as is to be expected in Final Fantasy, I think at least 2 of the pianos are permanently missable if you don't get them earlier in the game. So I'm just making sure to pick up the pianos as I get them. And yikes, my party's not doing too good. But yes, I hope that answers your question, Pit Mimi. I'm just putting myself in a position where I can get a super powerful goodness me, sorry, super powerful ability. This is the Black Chocobo Forest, and as you can see from this pink Chocobo sprite, it's a black Chocobo. If you'll excuse me for just one moment. In chat, Pit Mimi says, yes, comma, thank you. You're welcome, Pit Mimi. I'm glad to help, glad to illustrate. I don't want to completely spoil, what's going on. Korvac says, missable content equals sad me. Yeah, it's a bit sad. Of course, you can be like me and have a mostly, encyclopedic, understanding of what's missable in this game, so you don't miss things. And Korvac says, dink. That's what I'll do. I'll dink. And then this purple-black chocobo coughed up 2 crystal shards. And as Ferris just mentioned, must have been from the castle that blew up. If y'all will remember to the last stream, when Castle Karnak exploded, which is the thing that happened, that castle, 2 crystal shards flew out of it, and I was not able to get those jobs. Those are the jobs. Those jobs being Bard and Ranger. Corvax says, ew, they're sticky. I mean, they were inside the chocobo. They might have been partially dissolved. This is not quite the place I want to be. Close, but not quite. That building is certainly not the place I want to be. So yes. So now all those songs I've just picked up are now usable to me. Corvax says, oh, I didn't realize the chocobo had eaten them. Yes. And because the chocobo had eaten the crystal shards, it had actually developed trouble flying. This is where I want to be. First, while I remember it, I'll keep everyone where they're at right now. This is the town of Lix. This girl says, Bart's, that you? Yay, Bart's is back. This innkeeper says, Bart's, for you, son, it's free. Stay and rest a spell. Well, isn't that nice? So as you might be able to tell from how the townspeople are behaving, this is Bart's hometown. And Bart's is currently not asleep. And Ferris has noticed it. Corvax says, I couldn't tell. That's a lie, Corvax. You already know this entire game. And then a cute little moment. Ferris reads the grave and says, here lies Stella. Bart says, meet my mom. Says, you know, I was born here in this village. Mom passed on when I was still young. After that, I traveled with Dad for a long time, but 3 years ago, he got real sick. And Bart's writes something on the stone. Here lies Stella and Dorgan, devoted husband. He always wanted to be buried here with Mom. Dad was so strong. And then Ferris says, a father, huh? Wonder what that's like. And then, well, let's head back. Then I'll worry if she wakes and finds us gone. Yeah. Poor party. Very fatherless. And motherless. Cormac says, why wasn't he buried there? Because he fell ill while they were adventuring across the world. And presumably died before they could get back home. And then this minstrel here says, you used to live in this house? You must have a lot of memories here. Please, take your time and look around. Dorgan says, is he asleep? Stella says, you're leaving again so soon? And Dorgan says, no, I'm not leaving anywhere. And Stella says, the spasms aren't as frequent, I can get on better than before. And then says, it'd be nice if you stayed. And then Dorgan just says, yeah, I'll take care of you here. Mimi says, oh no, is it a remember childhood scene? You bet It is Pit Mimi. We all remember childhood here. And Bart says, "You're leaving again, aren't you?" Dorgan says, "So you were awake." And Bart says, "Daddy, are you going to get more bad guys?" "That's what I do," says Dorgan. Bart says, "I don't want to come." Dorgan says, "You need to stay here and take care of your mother. Don't tell her you saw me leave, alright? It'll be our little secret." And Dorgan says, "Now it's time for good little boys to go to sleep. Stella, worry about that tomorrow and come get some rest." Stella? That's a very brutal thing to remember from a music box. And for our troubles, we get a new song for the Bard class. Korvac says, "I did not remember that." Yes, it's a bit of a sad memory. Whoops. Korvac says, "And I think it hit me just as hard the first time." Small blade favored by ninjas can be used with spell blade. Well, that's interesting. It says down. That's kind of curious. But speaking of ninjas, we have a bunch of very cheap scrolls here. I'm going to buy some. Yeah, Bart's backstory here is a bit hard, you know. So as he said in the other cutscene with Ferris, Mom died young and then went on adventures. See, as tempting as it is to buy ethers, I'm not going to buy them. You will notice the NPC there said that everything's on sale for Bart's, and everything there was actually half the normal price it would cost, which is nice. There's a few more memory cutscenes, but nothing as critically important as that one. And here we have the magic shop with a single magic spell, and I already have that spell. I do not need Asuna. I got it from Karnak Castle before it was exploded. So now, we are onward with the story. I just need to remember where the story is. The world map in this game is, I won't say confusing, it's just a little meandering. Here's where the story is. I think. Korvac says, "Guess it explains why he was just adventuring at the beginning of the game. Makes sense that you wouldn't want to be in your childhood town if that happened to you. Especially if you had nothing left that really tied you there, you know? Because it's implied that, actually, let me think here. Oh yes, it's implied that, Bart's has been adventuring for a very long time, so that's just kind of what he does, you know? Even though he doesn't have his father to go on adventures with anymore. So anyways, to summarize the cutscene going on right now, Sid and Mid, have located the Earth Crystal. It's in a town called the Town of Ruin. And I gotta get through the desert to get there. So let's get to the desert and see what's up. Okay. We have Kalamazoo. See, See, the more I level up, the easier these guys start to get. Look at this, such an easy fight. Before we continue, I'm actually going to want to change around my jobs a little bit. I have no reason to change around my jobs, actually. But I will. Okay. Which one of these is Ranger? This is Ranger. This is what I want on Bart's. We'll get time on him. Thunderbolt, I like that. And then the same old ninja suit. Geomancer will be largely unnecessary on Lena right now. So I guess I'll just put her back on White Mage and she can continue learning that. And we can equip her learning. Beastmaster, though it's nice to level up, is not going to be especially useful. So let's get Galif to start learning some songs. Let's give him barehanded so he can do good damage. And then Ferris, keep her as a blue mage. Okay. Korvac says, it's funny that you get a boat, then you almost immediately ditch it for a chocobo. Yeah, because the boat gets sucked up. Again. Because that's the second boat. The first one also gets sucked up into a whirlpool. I think out of all the Final Fantasy games, this is the one that has the most vehicles. I believe it gets into the double digits. Pitmini says, bare hands sounds cute. It's just karate. I just attack the enemies with my fists. Yep, we're ready for Sandworm. And then mid drops very casually there that if I cast magic on the Sandworm, I'll be in trouble. Which was the entire reason why I just changed all of my classes there. I kind of stuck Ferris as a blue mage because I just really had nothing else to put on her. Korvac says that's honey gathering. Honey gathering? What do you mean? Okay. So the only song I can really use here is this one right here. But that's fine. It's a very good song for me to use. Oh, huh. Magic Hammer, which I previously said is not usable for me, is in fact usable for me. Isn't that funny? Can I use magic before you swap? Yes. It does okay damage too. Whoop. Okay, just defend. Just have to take it nice and slow. Quicksand. Oh yes. Yes. So the way this boss works is the two hole enemies. If I attack them at all, they cast a spell called Gravity on me. So you see here the Sandworm just dodged me at the last second, and because barehanded hits twice, it casts Gravity twice. So if you're using full AoE effects, you are going to be in for a very bad time. Or if you just miss your shot. So, I just need to be a little careful. That's all. There we go. Unfortunately, that doesn't do that much damage because that is technically a back row attack. Korak says, my grandparents had these huge bear paw slippers when I was a kid. And it was fun wearing them. Would have been cute if there was paws that went along with it that could be used to get stuff out of the oven. Oh, that would have been very cute, Corvax. Now, on your behalf, I am kind of just a little upset that you didn't have access to that, so you could go full bear mode. Oh dear. I did it again. And that gravity seemed to miss. Okay. It's funny that the only thing that's consistently hitting the sandworm is the magic that Mid said I shouldn't be casting. Korvax says, I couldn't remember the term overmitts, oven. Korvax says, what did you do? I keep punching the hole. That's what I do. Okay. There we go. Back row punches. Barely any damage. Korvax says, you have to use Find Pits. Find Pits is an overworld ability. Korvax says, to avoid punching the pits. Not how it works, unfortunately. Whoop, okay, I got very lucky there. And still more back row punching. And there we are. Very hard, no experience points at all. But now I've leveled up blue a decent amount on Ferris. And I have blue available. Karlak says, bye-bye, worm. Yes. Pit Mimi says, please don't punch my pits, they are sensitive. Yes, Mimi, that is true, but aren't you a sub? I seem to recall you saying something about being such, if I recall correctly. And I do. Korvax says, maybe she just doesn't like getting punched. That's fair. Pimini says, yes, but I'll also cry. Oh. I was gonna say something much meaner, but I will spare you the meanity. That's it. That's the word. Okay, now let's see what these songs do. That one confuses the enemy. Okay, nice. That doesn't do a lot of damage. Okay. Karlak says, I cry all the time. I'm surprised I haven't shriveled up. Well, you just rehydrate after crying. That puts you in a position where you can just cry again later, and it's like, you know, you'll be able to. Nice and easy. Okay. We'll go with the Belle. She is back row after all. Okay. Let's equip a classic onto Ferris here. Steel. Oh yes, I can only equip the... Yeah, I'll equip the Mage Masher here. Oh, that one flees. Okay. Whoops. I keep selecting Gaia when I really want to be selecting white magic. That's how I play, I guess. And I selected the wrong person there. I am killing it today. No worries, the battle's over and I can now just cure the Galif. And there we go. Full health. It's like he didn't even get within mere moments of dying. So now I just need to remember how to get through this entire place. Couldn't steal, even with the thief's gloves, which make it more likely for me to steal. Well, isn't that lovely? Mimi says, laundry completed. How much XP do I get? No XP, you just get the satisfaction of doing laundry. Oh my. That is a dead bear. Okay. Korvax says, I don't think I got any XP, but I think you should get 1k. My, Korvax, you're quite generous. Oh, a potion. Isn't that lovely? Korvax says, I mean, depends on the game. I guess that's true. Pitmimi says, aw, but I wanted to unlock the gold washing machine. Now, you know, that's just for bragging rights, right, Pitmimi? Whoop, that's nice damage. Double critical hits. Wow. Okay. Now, let's see here. This is the wave next. No matter what, it goes in the right direction. Korak says, what does the gold wash machine do? Does it fold for you? And Pitmimi says, nothing, purely cosmetic. Yeah. I understand that bragging rights is something that is to be desired, but like, I mean, you know, sometimes it's just not worth it. Korvax, kill. Please and thank you. Okay, and... oh, that puts me right back. Okay. Korvax, help. I don't think you've noticed. Thank you, Korvax. Very cool. Whoop, I do not need to use raise. Now, thankfully, one interesting detail about how Quicksand is implemented in Final Fantasy V is that the run button works on it. So if I'm Thief, I get 4 times running speed. So I get to go through this place a little bit faster. Korvax says, no, I did, I just always forget how to do it. Oh, okay, fair. I mean, I'm sure eventually you'll remember. You seem to be doing it consistently at a rate of about once per stream. You know, murdering the bots, that is. Korvax then says, Twitch in general is quite awful. Oh, I missed your message, Pitmimi. Boo, the picture has frozen. Why is mobile Twitch always like this? because computers suck. Computers, they suck. They are awful. See, that desert killer knows what's up. It knows that it's, Corvax says, interested in me enough, this account looks to have been stolen, question mark, from a real person. Oh no! Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure Twitch, doesn't actually care about scammers that much. And then finally, we are done with that desert. Here I thought I would have to continue the stream if the desert went on for very long. I confess, I do not have an excellent sense of time. Okay, let's confuse these guys. And has an icon and a banner. Real account from... wow, okay. Well, this bot scam is something else, huh? It's really sad that these kinds of enterprises must be profitable enough for people to keep doing them. You know, you'd think after enough time of the internet existing that people would get wise, but if anything, it's the opposite. It's not the people that get wise, it's the scammers. Cormac says, I was thinking the same thing, it's just sad. Pit Mimi says, my partner just woke up and said to me, I like that cross all the T's and dot all the I's. I like that cross all the T's and... oh, yes. Yes. Many such cases of someone saying complete nonsense gibberish, chat GPT style, shortly after waking up. Whoa, I do not want a quick save. Quick save is not my kind of jam. Korak says, I assume they are actually still asleep. Yeah. So here we are at the town of Ruin, where apparently there is a earth crystal here. And, hold up, that's a sprite that I recognize. Lena says, that was, and then Farrah says, King Tycoon. Interesting. King Tycoon, of course, being Lena Charlotte Tycoon's father. What's he doing here? Last we saw him, he was surrounded by a weird bubble, indicating that, you know, something weird was going on, and he flew off. Pimimi says, I asked what? And they said, you know what you were doing, and I like that. Corvax says, LMAO. Pimimi says, I'm just sat on the bed. Mimi, I think your partner is saying that they like it when you sit on the bed, and that maybe you should sit on the bed more often. And then we have little confession time. Ferris does actually remember being Lena's older sister, lost at sea, and remembers their father. Korvac says, you sitting on the bed in a real appealing way. Sister. Yep, they're sisters. And then they talk about how they must have gotten separated from Galif when they fell. And, sorry about that. Yes, I know, Corvax, I will drink more water. I don't know about y'all, but that's a real Deltarune moment. Everyone's just like, alright, let's split up, and then your last party member's like, absolutely not, you are not ditching me. I am an old man, and I am staying with you. Wait a cotton picking minute. Yeah, that is a very old man euphemism. Pale will have to mix that into his Galif speak. After he watches this VOD, which I'm sure he is watching at some point in time that to him is the present moment, and to us, me and y'all, the audience, is 2 days in the future, I'm assuming. And we get all warped, funnily enough, right to the island that sucked up our ship into the whirlpool. The second ship into a second whirlpool, specifically. And it's kind of exploding in there. But it appears that everything's fine now. The explodingness has stopped, and the black chocobo's flying back. Korvax says, this place is dangerous. It is very dangerous. You warp once and then it just explodes. And my question is, Sid and Minnie are here, returning the black chocobo, but the only ship that can currently sail on the sea without any wind to do sailing is presently sucked into a whirlpool. Uh-oh. That chocobo is very confused. Why is there a hole suddenly here? Who knows? And that door opens, and naturally, Pimimi says, how would you pronounce the name Hull? You know, like the hull of a tank ship or something. Hold on a minute. Can I not check these notes right now? There's a switch here. Push the switch. Nothing. Okay, this is where I start. It won't budge. Something is carved into the wall. Check the planters in the center room. Rest up a bit? No. There's a note here. The notepad in the room on the right. Made you look meaner, neener, neener. Korvax says, yeah, same as what Dot said. Arg that little. Calm down, Barts. And then we got another note. Check the urn. I believe by urn it means this one. Frog pops out. Book. And then go down 6 and right 4 and pull what's there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a switch here. Pull the switch. Treasure chests. Learned mini. Obtain shuriken. Obtain shuriken. There we go. Pimimi says, I needed a bigger data sample. In French, I would probably say hull. You know, if you wanted an even bigger data sample in another language. Korvax says, learn to spell from a chest. I previously learned Isuna from a chest as well. Inside Castle Karnak while it was exploding. You know, just because I was there, and it was there, and I had the time, somewhere within the range of 10 minutes, or less. But now we continue with this place. This is, hey, it's the fire-powered ship. I thought it had sunk. Guess not. But what's this ship with propellers? Pimimi says, I've had people say hool. Korvax says, I wouldn't say hull in French. There's a town in Quebec, I think, called Hull. Or it's on the border between Ontario and Quebec, so you'd have people in French saying Hull. Pimimi says, yes, I don't know why. Could it be English as a second language type people, maybe, Mimi? You know, English is hard. There are so many different ways to pronounce the same letters. You need to be very familiar with the language to get everything right. So anyways, Mid and Sid have dropped into the cutscene and are now speculating. And Mimi says, Americans. Americans? No. Americans. Saying hool. for hull. Like, it'd be cool if it was HUL with only one L. But 2 L's, that changes the U into hull, always. Right? It's so weird. But anyways, we have airship activated now. And, Mid is just running around here. Wow, amazing! And Sid's just here. Bart asks, what is this thing? And Sid says, isn't it obvious? It's an airship. Amazing. I've only ever seen these in old texts. I can't believe I'm getting to use one in the flesh. Or, well, you know what I mean. But, uh-oh. Something's dragging the ship down. Himimi says, hull like ship hull is correct. Yes. And yes, Korvax is true. English barely has any rules. So, if y'all remember Carlabos from the first stream, this is Carlabos the sequel. Cray Claw. Getting sucked again? Cray Claw is certainly trying. The crazy clawed guy. But if I can help it, I won't get sucked down. I'll just defeat the little guy just kind of clinging onto here. Stole Coral Sword. Oh, that's nice. That tail screw's getting some usage, huh? Oh my. I'm not doing much damage right now. Timmy says, I also spoke to a French person about you saying Canadian French and it was real French and they agreed. Yeah, see the thing is with France French is that, you know, for the past like 50 or so years, they've been, like especially in metropolitan areas, just been slanging it up through something that they call verlan, which is an anagram of l'envers, which means backwards, but, you know, they've verlan it so that it's backwards, because, you know, make things complicated. And they just start doing that with all kinds of words, which changes it very, very quickly. Whereas here in Canada, the French that we speak is like pretty much the same French that would have been spoken in France circa World War II. So French people, when they come here, like, and they go to a place that speaks a lot of French, they're just hearing everybody speak like how their grandparents speak, including kids, including like teenagers, right? Everyone here is just speaking the same French, which is kind of funny. But also, you know, if you consider that French is a minority language here in Canada, kind of makes sense that we'd all try to stay on the same page in terms of like words and verbiage and stuff like that. Whereas in France, where it's the majority language, by far the majority language, you know, you kind of have a bit more leeway to, you know, screw with it and develop some new slang. Like how we do in English, you know, with the internet. How we have a lot of, you know, weird new words coming up, you know, or just weird turns of phrase. Because, you know, that's just how language goes. All that to say, yeah, Canadian French is the real French. Pitmimi says, if I'd had a different childhood, I would have gone into linguistics. That's interesting, Pitmimi, because I have a degree in computer science, and that is basically linguistics with a bunch of math. But anyways, that was a boss battle. I now have an airship, and it has been 2 hours, you know. I won't take any more of y'all's time, even though we have said some very funny things. Whoop. You know, especially about language. Korvax actually says, I missed this, but I do want to read this out because it's interesting. I'd assume it's similar to that thing where American Southern English is closer to Older English. Just the accent. The American South accent is closer to the British accent that would have been spoken in colonial times, so 1800s. Mimi says, I studied programming, I'm not good at it. I mean, when you're a computer scientist, you don't really study programming, you study the mathematics of constructing computer programs. Which is to say you study programming. Basically, that's how it goes. But anyways, it has officially been 2 hours. Thank you all, both of you, for coming to the stream. And whoever else might be lurking. Thank you for showing up too. It's been fun. Next time on Final Fantasy V, maybe I'll get to the Earth Crystal, because I didn't get it this time. Who knows? Maybe. Anyways, we're done here.